everyone, Kelly here, and today I want to share with you my December TBR. And as I look at my stack of books, it is extremely ambitious, but what I wanted to do in December is kind of play catch up. So I've got a lot of books right now that I'm currently reading, way more than I should be, and I'm quickly getting through them. I've actually finished like a book a day for the last 4 days, trying to get through some of the books that I'm like halfway through. And so I want to continue that. I also kind of went back and all my TBRs for the whole year, and I wrote down all the books that I hadn't read yet and kind of narrowed it down to the ones that I'm still like really interested in right now and picked those books to read. So I'm kind of doing all books that I've had on my TBR and really want to finish in 2019. And then the only like new books I'm adding are a couple for the 'Tis the Season-a-thon, which I'll start with those. So 'Tis the Season-a-thon is a readathon hosted this week. So it starts on December 2nd and goes through the 8th. And it is hosted by Heather from Bookables, and I think she has some co-hosts. And it's just basically reading holiday books. And she has a few prompts and stuff like that. And I didn't go overboard. I just have 3 books here that are, a couple are kind of holiday based, and then one that I've been wanting to read for a long time. So I figured I would just try to read them this week, but I'm not going to give myself pressure because I have these other ones I want to finish. But you know, it might be nice to read a holiday book or two and just participate in one readathon. And so the first one is Let It Snow, which is 3 short stories by different authors. And this was turned into a Netflix movie, so that's part of why I want to read it this week so I can watch the movie. And I think that this one goes with the prompt of reading a book that has a song title. Obviously, Let It Snow is a Christmas song. And then I have The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. And this one goes with the prompt of snow on the cover. And I've just had this book for a long time, maybe like almost 2 years. And I just really want to get to it because it's short. Like, it's ridiculous that I haven't read this book when it's only like 220 pages. And so I'm hoping this week that I will just get to it. And everybody kind of raves about this, or at least did a year or so ago when it was popular. So I just want to get it off of my TBR. I don't really know much about what it is, except for I think it's like a group of people teens or something like that live in Alaska, and kind of like their intersecting stories. And the last one is the one I'm not as sure about, but I kind of want to find out if I'm going to like it or DNF it. And that book is Unholy Night by Seth Grahame-Smith. I had read Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter by him a few years ago and surprisingly really loved it, and I just didn't expect to. He also wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, so he's kind of like one of those that combines like more classic stories with crazy, gory kind of stuff going on. And this one is similar. This one is basically the Christmas story, but with the 3 wise men as being mercenaries, I believe is what it kind of is, thieves and murderers. And so, but I've heard like from the reviews that it's not like really like dissing on religion or anything like that, that it's mostly just like the story of the wise men and kind of leaves Mary and Joseph and Jesus alone for the most part. So because I liked Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, I wanted to give this one a try, but I've heard from the reviews that it is extremely gory and violent, and so I don't know if I'm gonna like it, which is what has kept me from reading it for the last like 3 years. So I'm just going to like start it this week, and if it turns out that it's too much gore for me, then I can just get rid of it and DNF it. But it's just been sitting on my shelf for so long, it's about time to just find out if it's going to be something that I actually want to read. So those are my 3 books for 'Tis the Season-a-thon. So those are the only new things I'm added to my TBR. All these other things, if you have been with me this year, you have seen before, because it's all stuff that I have said I was going to read and haven't done it yet. So first I'll talk to you about the ones that I'm currently reading. And like I said, I have way too many books. How many are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 books that I am currently reading. Some I have put down for a long time. I'll start with those because I did do, sorry, Eliza keeps interrupting me. What, honey? So I don't know where I was, but basically I'll start with the ones that I had put in my accidental DNF video that I did, I think last month. I gave you the option to vote out of the books that I had gotten like halfway through and then put down which one you want me to continue. And the one you picked was My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry. So I think I'm gonna get the audiobook of this so that I can get through it because I'm already halfway through. and maybe that'll help me push through the rest. And then I have 2 others from those videos that I also ended up getting audiobooks for, so I'm hoping that I can just finish all 3 of these, but I'll make this one my priority since that's what you voted for. But I'm also hoping to read Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Simple and Inspection by Josh Malerman. Both of these I am halfway through, so hopefully with the audiobooks I can just zoom through the rest of those. And then I have books that I had started. Most of these I started in November and just they're carrying over and I just need to get them done. This was for Nonfiction November. I have Buried in the Sky. This was a story about a day on K2 where a bunch of people died, and it's from the Sherpa's point of view. Like, these journalists interviewed these Sherpas. So I started this book and the first chapter was like heart pounding and I found it so interesting, but it was like something I was so invested in. I feel like I need to do this at a time when I don't have the kids around, when I can just be very invested in this book. So that's what I'm hoping to do when I have free time this month. I also started Red, White, and Royal Blue. I'm halfway through this. I think I'm about 50% of the way through this, by Casey McQuiston. And this is a romance book between the first son of the United States and a prince of England. So I'm enjoying this so far. Romance isn't necessarily my main genre, but I'm liking that there's more to that book than just romance. There's a lot of political stuff, so I'm finding that interesting. And then I also started Mr. Penumbrum's 24-hour bookstore. I started this for Books and Lala's, what does she call that? The Buzzword-a-thon, where it was supposed to have a number in the title. And I'm over halfway. I think I'm probably about 60 or 70% of the way through this. And I'm just not finding it very gripping like I thought I would. And so it's taking me longer to read it, but I'm hoping to finish this the next couple days because I switched to the audiobook and it's going by faster. And I think I only have like 2 hours left in the audiobook, 2.5 hours left. And then I just started Everblaze by Shannon Messenger. This is the 3rd book in the Keeper of the Lost Cities. I had put the 2nd book on my November TBR and I did read that one for Tome Topple and really enjoyed it. So I started this one. I'm just at the beginning. So I didn't really need to be starting this book when I have all these other ones, but I just really wanted to continue the series. So this will probably be my nighttime read. I kind of read this before bed. And so it'll probably take me the whole month to read it. And then I'm also still on The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. It makes me like so frustrated that I can't get this book done. I've had this book on my TBR almost the entire year. Like, I've put it on at least like 4 months TBRs, and I have started it. I've gotten 2 stories in. There's 12 stories in this. The problem is I just don't like short stories. And even though these are Sherlock Holmes stories, I prefer the novels because they're longer and I can get into the characters and get into everything. But these are just too short. And I just don't want to DNF it because it is Sherlock Holmes. I want to get through it. And I tried the audiobook and the audiobook wasn't working for me. So I don't know. I'm really hoping I can actually read that before the end of the year. And the last one I'm currently reading is The Winter's Curse by Marie Rakowski. I just really wanted to finish some of the series that I had started. And I'm about not quite halfway through, maybe 40% of the way through this book. So hopefully I can finish one more series in 2019. So those were all the books I'm currently reading, and it seems like a lot, but since I'm halfway through almost all of those, or close to halfway through a lot of them, I feel like I could maybe finish a book a day for the first week or so of December before holidays kind of sneak up on me. So I'm hoping that I can fit in some of these other books. So the stack I'm about to show you, I know I'm not gonna finish all of these. I don't know how many there are, but these are the ones from my TBR list from the year that I'm just hoping that I can read a few of these before the end of this year, because some of these I've had on 2 or 3 different TBR lists, whether for readathons or monthly TBRs. So I just want to read some of them. I have one by Sarah Crossan, which I know I've had this on several TBRs, and it is written in verse. It's just like with the short stories, I have trouble with this format. And I just need to get past it because I either need to decide if I'm going to keep it and finish it or get rid of it, because if I'm just not going to read that format, then maybe I need to get rid of it. I have a couple sequels that I want to finish. Once again, I want to finish the series of Song of the Lioness by Tamara Pierce. This is Lioness Rampant, which is the last book in that series. And just like Winter's Kiss, I want to finish a couple more series before the end of the year, so that would be helpful. And even though this one's a little longer, it's written in very big font, so I'm hoping that this one will actually get done. And then once again, I have The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson on my TBR. It's embarrassing how many times I put this on my TBR, and I really do want to read this one. This one might be one that I save for once I've gotten a lot of these other books done. I might focus on this the week of Christmas and have this be like the only book I read the week of Christmas, to like just focus on one book. And then I have The Walls by Holly Overton, which is, I think, one of the only thrillers, the only thriller I have on this list. So if I just want to pick up a thriller, this would be the one that I want to pick up. I have Wild Beauty by Anna Marie Michelmore. I was supposed to read this in November and just didn't get to it. And so this one is definitely a top priority. I want to finish. I also have on this When We Collided by Emery Lord. And the reason I put this on is because I actually read half of this book like a year ago. I don't even know how far I got because I took my bookmark out, because I'm going to have to reread it since I don't remember. But I got to a point in the story that I didn't really like it anymore. And so I was thinking of DNFing, but I'm going to try it one more time. And if I can't get past the middle this time, then I'm going to get rid of this book. I just feel bad because I do enjoy all the other Emery Lord books I've read. I've enjoyed. And something in this one is just keeping me from enjoying it. So I just need to find out once and for all if I should get rid of it. And then I have a few library books that I would just like to return before the end of the year, because it feels like I've had them for a long time. My library lets me do like auto renewals. And so I think some of these books I've had since summer, and it just feels wrong to have, because all these are like newer releases, it feels wrong to have them for that long, even though if somebody was requesting them, they would have told me they were due. But still, it just feels weird having these new releases for months from the library. So I just want to finish them and get them back to the library. One is Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali. And this is a contemporary book, which I've heard has a lot of great diversity and issues. And so I just need to pick it up this month or return it to the library so somebody else can read it. I have The Flat Chair by Beth O'Leary, which is a romance, but I've heard has some heavy topics in it. And then I have God's Grave by Jay Kristoff, which is the second in the Nevernight Chronicles. And I'm just avoiding this one because of the writing style, but maybe this one and Well of Ascension will be the two holiday books that I can just go between and just finish off at the end of the year. So yeah, that is a huge stack of books. So probably finishing all of those is unrealistic, but I at least need to finish the ones that I'm halfway through and get all my currently reading done, and then fill in with the others as I can to read as many of these books that have been on my TBR, because it just is embarrassing for me to have so many books that has appeared on my TBR several times and I haven't gotten to them. And either that means I need to get rid of those books or give them a try. And that's what I want to try to do this month. If you have any books that you are really wanting to finish before the end of 2019, I would love to hear from you down below. Thanks, bye.